First of all, I want to thank the school principal for her hospitality. That's interesting, you know. She said she lost her school and lost her house, but I told her she hadn't lost her smile or her will to succeed. Behind us, we've got U.S. troops and Mexican troops working together to help get this school up and running. The superintendent of schools here in the region tells me that they're trying to have everybody back in school by the end of October. And that's part of what you're beginning to see here in Mississippi. This country's beginning to rebuild, and lives are starting over. Thank the governor and the congressman for their hospitality here. And Mayor, thank you, sir.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
You've been in office for how long? 4 months?
2 months.
2 months.
Yes.
Seems like 4.
But there's a remarkable spirit all across this affected zone. It's a peculiar Mississippi spirit here, where there's a can-do attitude. People are coming together and slowly but surely putting their lives back together. The governor was telling me about the electricity, and the mayor's got a positive attitude. I remember when I was down here last time, they were talking about gasoline.
Yes,
Saw
sir.
a gasoline station up and running.
Right.
So progress is being made, and yet there's a lot of work to do. A lot of issues to be resolved. A lot of lives to be lifted up. A lot of hope to be restored. I look forward to working with the congressional delegation, Jane people in Mississippi, and the 2 senators, of course, and the governor to address the problems. I mean, we are problem solvers, and we look forward to working with the folks here. I said something in Louisiana I want to repeat here in Mississippi, and that is, as these communities are rebuilt, they're going to be rebuilt by people from Mississippi. And as the coast is replanned and the vision of the coast emerges, it's going to be planned by the people of Mississippi. The role of the people in Washington is to support the governors and support the congressmen, support the mayors as a vision for what this part of the world will look like. And it's important for people to understand that. That's a pledge we will keep. Now, your school is going to open before the end of October.
We're hoping for the end of October.
End of October, isn't that fantastic?
Well, I'm sorry, the beginning of October.
Beginning of
Beginning
October.
of
October. For this school, for this
I'm
school.
for that.
That's great. Well, thank you all very much. Thanks for having me. We done another round of questions today, or is one enough, you think?
Can you tell us?
Have you accepted the resignation of Michael Brown?
I haven't.
Or have you heard about it?
I haven't. No, I have not talked to Michael Brown or Mike Chertoff. That's who I talked to. As you know, I've been working. And when I get on Air Force One, I will call back to Washington. But I've been on the move.
Our understanding is that he has resigned. He's put out a statement. Would that be appropriate in
I
your?
haven't talked to Mike Chertoff yet, and that's what I intend to do when I get on the plane. You probably, maybe you know something I don't know, but as you know, we've been working, and I haven't had a chance to get on the phone. I just came from an extraordinary event. When I say I've been working, what I've been doing is thanking people. We just came from a church that's feeding people who need help, and there were people from all over the country there. It was unbelievable. And so I was spending time thanking them and lifting their spirits, so I can't comment on something that you may know more about than I do.
Can you say if you've been disappointed? If you've been disappointed in the job, were you disappointed in the job that he did?
We went through this morning, as you know, and I said this. So I hadn't changed my mind since you asked that question, or somebody asked the question.
It was a little bit different. It wasn't specifically about him, sir.
It's the same spirit, and that is that there'll be plenty of time to figure out what went right and what went wrong. And the reason why it's important for us to figure that out at a national level is that if a major event were to come, another major event, we want to make sure that there's appropriate relationship between the state and the local government. And so it's appropriate that we step back and take a look. Here in Mississippi and in Louisiana, people want to move forward. They understand there's time to, try to blame somebody, but they want to get their lives back together, and that's the spirit I see.
On rebuilding, when you say it's up for the vision of it is up to those on the ground, the local decisions, does that mean the federal government doesn't want to help rebuild things exactly as vulnerable as they were?
Well, you see, I think that nobody wants to build a fragile society. Everybody wants to, when you rebuild better. And we want to work with the local folks to achieve that. The congressman brought up an interesting issue. He said that he's waiting to find out what height, in order for federal money to come there, the houses have to be built to a certain height. He's not trying to figure out the height, he just wants an answer.
And same thing with the highways, for example. We can't, a highway commission can't put out contracts for bridges.
To the
the
Coast
Coast
Guard.
Guard tells us how the vertical clearance has got to be. So
And so obviously there's a collaborative effort, and what the congressman's basic point was, and the governor's point is, how about getting us the answers for one reason: they want to get going, and which is exciting news, and it's so that's the kind of relationship I'm talking
Mr.
about.
President,
Okay,
a lot
thank
of
you all.
local
Thank you,
people
guys.
asking about insurance,
Yeah.
the flood versus wind. What can you?
I can't
say
give an
to that?
answer to that right now, but I am taking back the message again of the congressman and the governor, and particularly a lady I met at the church. She said she had lived here for a long period of time. And she said, I want to ask you something, President. She said, how would you like it if your insurance company said, ma'am, this is a flood event, and therefore I'm not going to cover your house? I said, I wouldn't like it a bit. She said, well, that's just what happened to me today. She had come back from where she had evacuated to hear that message, and she asked my opinion, and I said, I'll find out the process that determines whether or not it's a wind or water event.
Thank you all.
Speak.
Thank
Sir,
you very much.
one more
Thanks.
question. With all your focus on foreign policy over the next couple of days, what structures have you put in place to keep your attention also focused on
I can do more than one thing at one time. That's what I hope you're going to be. By the time I'm finished president, I hope you'll realize that the government can do more than one thing at one time, and individuals in the government can. And so I'll be in constant touch with. I have a hurricane recovery briefing every morning, for example, and I'll be in touch with Mike Chertoff. Andy Card on my staff will be in touch with the appropriate people. And so if I'm focusing on the hurricane, I've got capacity to focus on foreign policy and vice versa. But no, thank you for asking that question.
Okay, thanks, guys.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Makes sense.